Before I start cooking, I like to turn on the candle to make the vibe, the perfect vibe. So I was thinking between Mama's Kitchen and Sweet Lemon, but I'm more for this one. It's perfect cinnamon. That is the perfect candle ever. It's not sponsored, but I love their quality of candles. So I was able to buy this perfect dill and parsley. So they are right now drying. I washed them really well. Let's grab some extra paper and pat them dry. I don't care too much about dill to be dry, but more about parsley. We're going to do two things with parsley. I'm going to cut it and I'm going to dehydrate it. And dill, I'm just going to cut and put it in a nice container, and it goes to a freezer. So behind all of that is this way I do not have to go every time I need them to cook, to add them to any meal. They're already prepped. They're like either freeze, or they're either frozen or they are dehydrated. So I'm thinking about the parsley. I'm going to freeze some of the parsley too, but mostly the taller, like these parts, not as much as this part, but yeah. This I always freeze the dill, because I tried to dehydrate one time the dill and I don't like the taste. What if you don't have a dehydrator like I do have it in my oven? You can always grab the air fryer. Some of the air fryers, they have a dehydration functions. If not, no worry, because at one point I didn't have them either. So what I did, I grabbed, of course I dried that really well. I've grabbed few bundles together. This is how you do it also in Poland. And I tied them up like this on the top and hang them somewhere where they have a free air going through. So it's not like stagnation and they are not getting like against anything. And this way you are able to dry them. How long it's going to take? It will take some time. The only trick is make sure you tie them well, because when they are drying, those ends, when they dry, they have a tendency to lose the amount of how much it's here. So this way you won't have the issue that they will slip off. You don't want that. So I dried them that way and they were perfect. This is why I have to do it. I try to find if I have any more parsley, but I don't. And that method, drying them upside down, I did the celery, and this is how it looks like, the celery. It's just perfectly dried nicely. I'm not sure if you can hear it. And smells totally like for celery. So this is how much is left. So very soon I have to buy more. This way, if I don't have any of this, I can always use my dry spices that I made it. There's nothing else, no chemicals, no add-ons. It's just the dry spices in my own, in the jar. So let's get started. All right, so number one, let's dry everything. Like I said, I don't care too much about the dill, but parsley, yes. And just in case you have a question, what do I use the parsley for? Soups, stews, buckwheat. I love buckwheat with parsley and dry mushrooms. Oh my god, it is the best. And dill I use for soups, stews, and also I put it on the top of the mashed potatoes. They are the best, and to have that meal prepped before it is the best. And always check, because the thing is you do not want that to be like yellowish. I'm not sure if you can see in the camera, it's kind of yellowish. That's why most of them I checked, I washed them well, that's why they are wet. And now I'm going to start cooking, and now I'm just going to start cutting them. I'm going to start with dill, because this one is still a little bit wettish, so I'm going to give this a time to dry. I have a container, so I am going to leave some on the side, because I am about to make the broth, and I need at least this much, because later on I'm going to have a soup and I'm going to do something fun too. So how do I do this? Do I cut it like that? No. So I just take off these pieces, and this one I do not toast. This one I save on a side in a Ziploc bag, and I can use that in the soup. So let's do it. It takes some time, but this is all about the prepping your food. This way, when you have it all done, you can quickly cook something delicious. And the meal prep is the crucial step. And like I said, I need more of the green part. I need to no dzięki, more of the broth. I'm going to also can the broth. I mean, I'm going to put it into the jar, and I'm going to have that saved for when I'm cooking some kind of soup or stew. I can always add my homemade broth. All right, I will see you in a moment. All right, there's too much to do it at one time, so I like to do it half and then finish up. And now we're going to cut it in a smaller. All done. I love smell of a dill. Oh my gosh. All right, let's finish the rest. This is the last one. Huh. See, it went quickly. In between time, I turned it on the broth, so you might hear the kitchen stove behind. Oh, I saw something that I don't like. All this container ready for the freezer, and you don't have to do anything else. The only thing I like to do, I like to put what it is, just in case, so when I open my freezer, I can see right away what I have here. I reorganized my freezer, so I am not sure if you're going to guys see well. The top shelf, it's very tiny. I hate this refrigerator, but unfortunately I have to deal with it right now. So top shelf, I have chicken and turkey. So usually those are the crucial for me for my broth. Up in here, it's like stuff for my sausage, dry mushrooms that I keep them in the actual freezer because they stay longer. They're from Poland. And bagels. And over there I have also a little bit left of the dry mushrooms from my mom. They are the best. And up in here I have pork. I am not sure if you can see that. So I wrote it down, everything. So this is a pork. I have a leftover of the beef shank that is for my broth. Up in here I have the green parts, and I had leftover of shrimp, so I just put them over there. I'm going to use them very soon, and usually I use the shrimps with parsley. And up in here is like extra stuff. So I bought a huge piece. I cut it in a small cubes, and then when I need that I can use it. I have a French pastry. Also, I have that kung pao chicken from Trader Joe. And why? Because just in case I come back from work and it's late, I have nothing else in the refrigerator. It's a quick meal ready to go. And on this side, I put it all the butter. And yes, I freeze my butter because the amount of butter I use, I need that butter all the time available. So my butter is in the freezer. This way I just can pull out a piece and it's ready to go, and it won't anything happen to your butter, trust me. I use this method for years and years, and it's really good solution for buying more at Costco, and they are good to go. All right, the freezer bag, and this is the leftover from dill, and this I am just going to leave in my freezer bag. There we go. This I'm going to put this in a freezer bag, and the only thing I'm going to write it on what it is, because I'm not going to be able to make a difference between the dill and the parsley when they're going to be just a stick. So make sure you know what's inside each of the bag. Okay, here we go. All done. And this goes to freezer. We can clean this up because it's going to be a messy. And this is another thing why I do this on one day. One time mess, no more then. Once in a while, when you do this and you have a mess, you can deal with it. Oh, funny story. So one time I went to a store, and of course my Polish accent, and I couldn't find a dill. Okay, it's called dill. So I went to the store, I'm looking and looking, and then I went to a person that works over there, and I was like, hey, I'm looking for a dill. He was like, looking for me? He's like, what? I'm like, dill. For the green parts, the dill. He's like, oh, the dill. I'm like, oh, sorry. Yes, the dill. So, come with me. Do you have funny stories like this with people from the foreign countries when their accent is sometimes so fake that you think they said something different? And I'm trying to lose the accent for 20-something years, and I gave up. I am not able to lose the accent. I know it, and I guess this is my signature, my accent, and that I am Polish. Next is our parsley. So I have a chicken. I have a broth cooking. No, not chicken. So I'm not sure if you're new here. I do not cook broth as a chicken only, or beef broth. I mix chicken, turkey, and beef. My mom, for example, right now my dad is doing apparently the best broth. He is mixing chicken beef and duck, not turkey. He used not a whole duck, of course, the parts of a duck. So first what I do, I cook the meat separately. So all the shims from the meat, it's in one pan, and I have another pan that is just the water, clear water. When this is done and it's getting almost ready, this is why I do not like to add meat right away to my broth, because all of this is going to be messy in your broth, not tasting well. And you won't have a clean broth. Like I, for example, love clear broth is the best. So make sure they all in that water. How long do I cook them in here? Not too long. Just when it starts boiling and all that meat, it's going to let go all of that dirtiness. And I am going to have then I am moving this to the sink, quickly washing it under the fresh water and putting it quickly back into here. And then you have the best clear, delicious broth ever. And I know you might have a question. I already repeated that, but I just want to show you, since I'm cooking more broth right now. What if I lose taste of the meat when I'm cooking it there? No, you won't. Trust me. I keep doing this for many years. My mom showed me that, and it is the best way to have a delicious broth. Sorry, I'm trying to have that submerged in that hot water. Okay, so because of that broth, I'm going to save a few of these ones. So, oh, that is huge. So I'm going to have them saved for the broth. This way I don't have to pull them out from the freezer. How many I use? I'm going to use this many. It's a little bit more, but that pan, it's going to be a huge pan, so I prefer to have more than enough of a taste. All right, yeah, they are nice and pretty dry. I like it. Okay, and the same thing what I did with a dill. Just have to grab these ones like that. And do I cut them? No, you know what? Maybe a little bit. I'm going to cut them. Yeah, change my mind. It's a lady thing. No, cut that. So I am just going to have them done. This part go on the side, like the dill. And this should be faster because it's not as small as dill. All right, I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so meat is in here already. I added dill, parsley. I also like leek, and I added the green parts of celery and the celery root. I know you guys do not know too much of the celery root. It's just like I added like bigger piece because it's a big pan of the broth is going to be. Another thing I'm going to add, so I like the bay leaf. I'm going to add like bigger and smaller too. I like the allspice, just like one big one and also like a tiny one. Okay, I like also the lavarice. I'm going to link everything that I use in my kitchen, in my house. I will link in my Amazon description, because stuff that I use, I highly recommend. I don't use stuff that I would never recommend to anyone else. Okay. How much? Okay, like this much, maybe a little bit more, like a good tablespoon of that, of the leverage. Oops. We're going to use salt. How much of the salt? Just add a little bit for right now, and then you can always check the taste. And freshly ground pepper. Alright, and comment me, did you ever go to a Polish like a restaurant and you were like, wow, this broth, you can see through it, whatever it's in below in the plate. So how do they do this? We make that by slowly cooking it. It needs to cook, but it cannot boil like viciously all the time. The only time it will boil, it's the beginning of it, and then you have to turn the heat on the very lowest medium ever, and this needs to simmer. That's it. And leave this for some time. Few hours is the best. So the broth is cooking. That's a Polish rosół, we call it. And while it's cooking, I'm going to do homemade noodles. Yes. So I love homemade noodles, and my mom, she makes them really good. One time I came back from my university and my mom asked me, what do you want to eat? And I was like, rosół with homemade noodles. And she was like, that's a great idea. Okay, go and make it. Yep, I did not expect that. And of course I had to make it. So homemade noodles, here we go. So for homemade noodles, we will need all-purpose flour. The flour that I use, it's always the red. The flour that I always use, either for any kind of baking or bread flour, all-purpose flour. This is the best flour that I really do like, and I use that flour for many years already. Okay. So I'm going to have like 2.5 cups of flour, and I'm going to add, for right now I'm going to add 3 eggs. If I need more eggs, I will add more eggs. If I need more flour, I will add more flour. I'm just going to play with it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to grab my handy dandy mixer, and those are the best attachments to make the dough. And let's mix it. So this dough needs to be stiff. Yes. It cannot be loose, it cannot be, of course, cannot be like a stone, but you need to have some kind of like a little bit stiffer. Okay. And the secret of making a dough is press with your knuckles and stretch. I can feel like I need a little bit more flour. I added too much of the liquid. First I didn't want to mix, and now it's too loose. You just need to feel the dough in your hands. So what's the difference between this dough for noodles and the dough for pierogis? The pierogis dough needs to be very flexible, and for that you just add 1 egg and more water, because the eggs make the dough flexible. I mean the eggs makes the dough either stiff, and less eggs the dough is more flexible, more fluffy, I would say. And the noodles, you need that stiffer dough. That's why we add more eggs and less water. Okay, it's starting to feel better. I'm just going to make it a little bit more so it's well combined. Feels like it needs a little bit more flour. It's still sticking to my hand, and it shouldn't stick to my hand. It's a good exercise, I will tell you that. I'm going to leave this covered. Let the dough rest for a few minutes. Yeah, usually like 5-10 minutes, like around 10 minutes should be good. And we'll start making the delicious, noodles. It's time to roll. So the dough rested. It is not too tight, but it feels good. Just going to, okay. Let's roll it. That might be too much. I'm going to cut that in half, and I'm going to roll the half and then the half. Whenever you roll one part of the dough, the other needs to be covered so it doesn't dry out. The chicken broth is almost ready, so the secret for the noodles, they need a lot of flour. I'm going to move this so I have a space. Does it have to be straight? Should be, but oh well, I can do it a different way. Let's do this. Let's try to make that more like a, maybe not a square. Okay, need more flour. How thick? Depends on how thick you want the noodles. And can I use the KitchenAid? Yes, you can. There's no need to roll. I do have a KitchenAid, but for me, if I want just a little bit, of the noodles, it's not worth of pulling out the whole KitchenAid. Okay, let's see. Okay, it looks good. Sorry, that's my Luna. So okay, and that we are going to leave it to dry. Okay, I usually like to hang it on the side. So why I didn't want to dry the dough before? Because it would be really hard to roll it out and would start cracking, and you don't want that. This one, you're not going to dry it to the dry point, but you're going to dry it to the point that it's not going to be cracking, but it's not going to be as soft. This way it's easier to cut the noodle dough into the shape of the noodles that you want. And so let's rest for another like 10-ish minutes and we can go back to it. And while we rest, chicken broth, the rosso is almost ready. That's the perfect time before you finish your soup, whatever soup it is, and you need noodles. Noodles are going to be perfect. Okay, this one, because it was first, I'm going to leave it on the side. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to cut that a little bit. Like this way. This one is going to stay. All right. Now, to make them really good, a lot of flour, like previously, even more. Okay. And now, I'm going to cut that even a little bit more. I don't want them spaghetti. Okay, and now we're going to roll them. Okay, but don't press them, just roll them gently. Okay, and that, depending on how you can do, and this is going to be your noodle. First one is never equal. I'm going to take a different knife. And I want them a little bit thicker than thin. So it depends on how thick or how thin you want them. You can do this. And in Poland, we usually had them very thin, like even thinner than this. But I like them a little bit more on the thicker side. After you do this, make sure you unfold them all, like with the flour here. This is why we need all that flour. See? So they don't stick together. Okay. And we're going to leave them so they can even dry more. Now we're going to do the other ones, and I will see you when I'm done with all of that. Okay, so I'm just going to run like this and spread them as much as I can so they don't stick together, but they are not as wet anymore. Okay, and let's get ready. Okay. It's going to cook faster. Okay, the water is almost ready, I'm just going to add salt. You don't need anything else. How much? Like good hippie tablespoon of a salt. And it's going to start boiling faster. We are almost ready. It needs to really boil. It is ready. Let's drop them all. Try not to squish them. I think I can drop them all in one pan. There's not like a lot of them. And I try to separate them while I'm dropping them. Almost. Ooh, they look so good. I lost one! One more. I need to take the wooden spoon and okay, we're going to make sure you mix them. Okay. All right, here we go. Ooh, they look so. Try not to have them stick to the bottom of the pan. I'm going to lower the temperature so they don't need as much time. Done. Of course, I have to try one. Wow. Let's go and eat.